Hello again, it's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com, and the last paint experiment that I did was using these exact same colours. I used a gold, a pink and a black, and I wondered whether, having swiped a lot with white and black, whether I could swipe with other colours. So I did a beautiful swipe with gold. That one is still drying at the moment, so I can't bring it over, but if you check out in the video which is immediately prior to this one, you should be able to see the results. And it got me thinking about swiping and whether it made any difference whether you swiped fast or swiped slow. Obviously, if you swipe more slowly, you have a bit more control. If you swipe quickly, you've got less control, but will it move the paint more and create different cells? So I thought I'd carry out a complete side-by-side experiment and then we would see what happens. So I've layered my gold, my pink and my black. Exactly the same paints on either side from the same pots in about the same proportions, although I spilled a little bit of gold there. And I thought what I would do is do a complete side-by-side comparison. So I've got my cloth at the ready, I've got my swipey tool, and I'm going to slowly swipe on this tile and then more quickly swipe on this tile, and we will see what happens. So here I go with my more slow and careful swipe on this one. I've got cells coming through, everything's looking good up at the top. I find with the tiles that I have a tendency maybe to over pull the paint, but I can fill that back in with the paintbrush in a minute, so I don't have to worry about that too much. So that was my slow swipe. Let's see what happens when I come over here with my cloth. So I've got a clean patch, and then I'm going to try and swipe quickly and not make a mess. So here I go. First one, quick swipe. Second side, quick swipe. So let's just sit and let those develop for a minute. I'm just going to add a little bit of gold back up to the top of each one so that I can cover those parts where it's a little bit thin. I should probably gesso these tiles beforehand so the paint's got a little bit to grab onto a bit better up at the top of the tiles. But I can fill this in with a brush in a minute. Okay, so having completed this side by side, I'm really not seeing much difference. This was the slow swipe. You zoom in just a little bit. So this was the slower swipe, this was the fast swipe, and I'm not seeing any difference. The only difference is on the fast one that I missed just a little bit there because I wasn't being quite so careful, so I should probably try and redo that little patch. Yeah, I think if I'm going to swipe on tiles, I ideally need to gesso first of all, stop these little white patches from coming through so that the paint will be a bit more even. But in any event, I think I've answered the experiment that I certainly set out to do. Because I'm not really seeing any difference between the slow and the fast swipes in terms of any cell development or anything else. So what would happen, having done that, if I now swiped back in the opposite direction and pulled these colours over the gold? Let me go and wash up my scrapers and then we'll give it another try. So I'm back for a second swipe, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different, because what I have seen people doing is using sheets of acetate to swipe with. Now I've scoured my entire island and I've got some very strange looks from the young people who work in the stationery stores here, and I've no idea what an overhead projector is or what a sheet of acetate might be, but it appears I cannot get a sheet of acetate on the entire island. So I've got some of these Dollar Shore sheet protectors. I'm going to try and do a swipe with this. I think it may be a bit flimsy. I don't think it will have enough weight, but we'll see what happens. So again, it's another experiment. You can't go wrong when you experiment, can you? And with tiles, these are so easy to just wipe off anyway and redo if I don't like the result. So I'm just going to lie that down on the edge just there. Oh, I've lied down on the whole thing. Now I've messed up. Anyway, let's drag across. Wow. That hasn't turned out too brilliantly because I've taken off far too much of my paint. So that didn't do a good job, did it? Maybe I should try swiping back the other way now so I haven't completely ruined everything. Let's see what happens. Can I get a bit more paint on that bottom edge if I swipe again? Okay, so we've got a bit more coverage. So having done that, let's see if I can do this side a bit more carefully. Should just fill in some black on those bits. And now I'm going to use the exact same piece. I'm not going to worry about cleaning it up because I want the colours to all mix in together anyway. So now I'm going to try and lie it down here, just about an inch. We'll see. And then I'm going to try a fast swipe. Ah, yes, so that didn't quite work out because my sheet, as I suspected, wasn't really heavy enough. It kind of bounced over the paint. So let me give it another try. And I'll drag a bit more of a bigger surface this time. Well, it looks very nice on the sheet protector anyway. That looks really nice. Maybe I should lie that out and try and save that. Yes, I think I will. I think I will lie this out and try and save it because this is probably going to look really nice later on too. So let me put that there and dry it. And let's have a look at these. Well, they're not beautiful, are they? What happens when you experiment and when you're prepared to try things and fail. So let's give it a torch and see if anything happens. Nothing that's particularly attractive. So anyway, that's the result of my experiment. I think these certainly aren't going to be keepers, so I'm glad that I did them on tiles, rather be easy to wash off. But it did show that I didn't create any difference between a slow swipe, which is what I did on the left hand side, and the faster swipe, which is what I did on this side. Well, depending on which way you're looking at them. Slow this side, fast this side. It gave me the same results when I swiped. And also I've learned that swiping with a sheet protector just not going to work. It's just too lightweight, so I'll probably have to try and see if I can get somebody to bring me a sheet of acetate in their luggage, for goodness sake. Anyway, thanks very much for watching my experiment. As I'm sure you appreciate, exactly the same for me as for you. Sometimes we try things and they just don't work out, but it's all part of learning, part of art. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up for trying and subscribe to the channel.